This video is going to talk about equilibrium in a market with supply and demand. So I have a demand curve here and a supply curve here, and X is going to mark the spot. X is where supply and demand intersect is going to be the equilibrium. But we want to explain why it is that we think that that makes sense as an equilibrium, because we define an equilibrium in this model and in every other model. We want to make sure it makes sense as a way to define the model. Define equilibrium. Equilibrium is sometimes described as a state of rest. So, in some sense, we're going to say if we have action occur in this market, and let's say this is the market for energy drinks, and let's say these are our daily quantities that might be sold here at Troy University. So, if we think of letting this market work, and so this is a snapshot of the market every day, and if supply and demand remain unchanged every day for a lot of days in a row, what do we expect we'd end up seeing prevail in the market? What price and quantity would we end up seeing this market sort of converge to? That's what we mean by equilibrium, when it gets there and it's going to stay there. So what makes sense, and what makes sense in terms of the plans and actions of individuals. The demanders are buyers, suppliers are sellers. So the demand curve and the supply curve really represent their plans. If the price was a certain amount, if the price was $4, the demand curve would tell us how many energy drinks consumers would want to buy. The supply curve is going to tell us how many energy drinks suppliers would want to sell. And so, those are plans. And in effect, one way to think about it for equilibrium is when the plans can all be carried out. That's what we'll call the equilibrium. So let's start by taking a price that's too high. You have a price, the equilibrium is going to be $3, but we'll start with a price of $4, and we'll see, well, what happens in this market if we have a price of $4. So at the price of $4, you read over to the demand curve and over to the supply curve, and then down, and that's going to give you the quantity. So let's say that this is 10 here, and then this is going to be maybe 35 over here. It is making up these numbers, but we have to have some numbers here allow us to see. So at a price of $4, and again, the way to think about this, if this is the price that is currently in the market, we're not going to end up having this be the equilibrium, but we're going to say, suppose it was. Suppose that the price of energy drinks were $4 each. Then demanders in this case would want to buy 10 energy drinks every day. You read over the demand curve down, the quantity supply here, or quantity demand would be 10, the quantity supply would be 35. If the price was $4, suppliers would be willing to order in and have available and hope to be planning to sell 35 energy drinks. Now, trades in the market have to be voluntary. You have to have a willing buyer and a willing seller. There are willing buyers to buy 10 units, willing sellers to sell 35. You have to have both a demand and a supply, a willing buyer and a willing seller. So the quantity sold in this market is going to be 10. The quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded. And we'll call that a surplus. When that occurs in the market, we have a surplus. That means there are more energy drinks available being supplied to this market than being sold. That's not going to persist. Why is that? Because it was inconsistent with it's inconsistent with self-interest. Suppliers are, this is like a retail store, maybe the bookstore where they're selling energy drinks. Suppliers have to incur costs to bring these energy drinks to the market. When the price is $4 and they look at how much money they can make when they sell the energy drinks, they are willing to incur the cost of supplying 35 energy drinks to this market. But they're only supplying them because they think they're going to be able to sell them. When they can't sell them, they don't get their money back. They don't get any money. They only get to sell 10 drinks at that price, and they're left with 25 leftover drinks, for which they've incurred cost of producing or buying them from the producer if they're a retailer, and they're not getting any money back from them. They're going to lose money on these energy drinks that go unsold. So they're going to adjust their behavior. They're not in business to lose money. It'd be in their self-interest to adjust what they're doing. Now, as energy drinks, if these are daily amounts, the first day they order in 35 and they only sold 10, they have 25 left over. Then the next day, since they think the price is still going to be 35, they've arranged for 35 more energy drinks to be delivered. They show up, they sell out of 10 of them. They're getting a surplus of 25 every day. They're stacking up in the back room. They have a whole bunch of energy drinks that they can't sell. They're not going to continue to do this. They're probably going to have a sale to try to reduce the amount of energy drinks they have. And having a sale means reducing the price. So they're going to reduce the price, and as they reduce the price, knowing that they're selling them for less, they'll be ordering in fewer. The quantity supplied will fall as the price falls. And as you lower the price, because back in chapter 1 we said incentives matter, a lower price is going to get more consumers who want to buy energy drinks. So if the price is above the equilibrium, up here on the graph, quantity supplied is greater than quantity demand. We have a surplus. Suppliers are being frustrated in their plans. They can't sell all that they hope to at a price of $4. They will adjust their plans, meaning they will lower the price, order in less, and we'll have the price fall, and that will move us toward the equilibrium. Now, suppose we come down here and instead of being at $4, suppose the price was at $2.50. That's below $3 over below the equilibrium price. At $2.50, when you read over, you come to the supply curve first, and let's say that's 15. And you get over to the demand curve, looks like that, and down, that gives you a quantity. It looks like maybe that's about 30. And so in this case here, at a price of $2.50, consumers want to buy 30 energy drinks, but suppliers are only willing to provide and sell 15 energy drinks. What that means is that, and again, if these are daily amounts, that means by early afternoon, the store is probably sold out of energy drinks. There are no energy drinks on the shelves, and customers keep coming in and say, "Do you have any energy drinks?" So at a price of $2.50, as I've got it drawn here, the quantity demand is greater than the quantity supply. That's what we call a shortage. And again, these are, you can think of these quantity supply and quantity demand as plans. At a price of $2.50, consumers plan to buy and drink 30 energy drinks, but they can only find 15 available. That's because that's all suppliers want to supply. So the quantity is 15 in this market, and you've got consumers, buyers who are going frustrated. They go to the store to buy energy drinks. The energy drinks have sold out. Maybe they'll know that they got to show up first thing in the morning the next day to get them before they sell out. But every day the store is selling out of energy drinks. Now, if you're one of those frustrated buyers and like somebody has just bought the last energy drink and you really need an energy drink to sit through, like say your economics class, then you might go to the person who just bought that last energy drink and try to buy it from them. Right? You might actually go in and try to resell. They could have resale. They would compete with each other. Or if somebody's about to buy the last energy drink for $2.50, you might say to the seller, "I'll pay you $3 for it." I'll try to outbid them. So the consumers who are unable to buy the good at the price of $2.50 might be competing with each other and in effect bidding up the price. Another thing that might happen here is that if you're the seller and you realize you're selling out of energy drinks by the early afternoon every day, and there are more customers coming in, you might think, I can probably sell my 15 energy drinks I'm ordering in every day for more than $2.50 each. And if you can, well, you'll make more revenue, and that will be in your self-interest. You'll make a larger profit if you sold them for, like, say, $3 instead of $2.50. Whereas as you as you raise the price, you would also be willing to order in more energy drinks. So if we're at a price below the equilibrium, we have a shortage. Consumers are trying to buy more of the good than would be available. That would create upward pressure on the price. So what we've said here is that a price above the equilibrium, above this intersection point, there's downward pressure on the price. At any price below the equilibrium, there's upward pressure on the price. So we have forces. If the price was too low, there'd be forces in the market pushing the price up. If the price is too high, there's pressure pushing the price down. If we had to make a prediction, if this was like the daily energy market drink, And maybe it might not start at $3, but if we had to make a prediction about after a few days where would we expect this market to settle, well, the best prediction would likely be at $3, because at this price of $3, the quantity demanded equals the quantity supply. And let's say that maybe it's somewhere in between here. Let's say it's 25. At this price, at the price where quantity demanded equals quantity supply, every buyer can carry out their plan, and every seller can carry out their plan. At a price of $3, consumers want to buy 25 energy drinks. There are 25 energy drinks available, so every consumer can get what they want. On the other hand, suppliers would like to produce and sell 25 energy drinks at a price of $3. That they're able to sell them all. So the suppliers don't have inventories building up, which is what they would have if there was a surplus, and that would create pressure for the price to fall. And there are no frustrated consumers who aren't getting the goods that they want. So there's no upward pressure on the price. So when you're at the equilibrium, the plans of suppliers and buyers mesh. They coincide. Everybody can carry out their plan. There's nobody in the market whose plan is frustrated, and is people whose plans are frustrated will want to change their behavior. And that's why when we're not at equilibrium, we have pressure on the price to either go up or down, and that pressure comes from the self-interest of buyers and sellers. So if we had to make a prediction in here, our best prediction would be we would expect to see a price of $3 and a quantity of 25. We expect to see the price prevail in this market where quantity demanded equals quantity supply, and that's the equilibrium. It's the price where quantity demanded equals quantity supply, or X marks to the spot. When you have a supply curve and demand curve, X marks to the spot, and that's going to be the equilibrium.